South Africa had been the bad boy of the continent for easily the past 100 years. Its vicious system of racial separation drew boos from around the world. But that jeering stopped in 1991 when white South Africans voted more than 2-1 to abolish apartheid and open up this country to its black majority. And as you'll see, it's been met with some mixed results. He's the world's most famous political prisoner, South Africa's president, Nelson Mandela. 78 years old, close to a third of his life spent in prison. But there's no bitterness in this man. Tonight, the father of the new South Africa dances with his children. Mandela's South Africa is struggling to remake itself. Larger in size than Texas and California combined, South Africa is the wealthiest nation in all of Africa, home to a coastline of scenic vistas, cloud-draped mountains, modern highways, and horrific slums. Cape Town is South Africa's mother city. Dutch sailors settled it in 1652. It started out as a supply stop for ships sailing between Europe and the East Indies. Today, it's a bustling seaport, trade center, and tourist attraction.
This is Long Street, where a lot of your nightclubs and restaurants. And formerly, I think it was a little bit of a red light zone.
Ride a cable car above the city, as we did with the OSU basketball team, and you'll feel like you can see forever. We're at the summit on Table Mountain, 3,000 feet above Cape Town. They say it's one of Earth's great natural wonders, and the view has been here for 10 million years.
I feel like we're on top of the world right now. You can see the clouds from up here.
South Africa is a country where first world meets third world, where cordial doormen usher you into great hotels, while the nation's black majority lives in grinding poverty. The days of apartheid are over, but the legacy is still being overcome. In 1949, mixed marriages were prohibited. In 1950, the Immorality Act outlawed sex between whites and other races. The Group Areas Act forced blacks out of the cities and into so-called homelands. In 1952, the pass laws meant any black over 16 had to carry a passbook at all times.
Which meant that if you are outside the labor camp, then you have to have a valid pass. You have to have a valid paper that says you are allowed by law to be in that particular area at that particular time.
Ironically, the end of apartheid has brought an astronomical rise in crime, carjackings, rapes, robberies. White South Africans are starting to leave the country for fear of it. Healthcare is a problem too. This clinic in the black township of Alexander sees patients 7 days a week. Many suffer from chronic diseases, asthma, hypertension, diabetes, epilepsy, and a high rate of sexually transmitted diseases, including AIDS. How often do you see a person with a sexually transmitted disease or AIDS?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day. We never see less than 10.
By some estimates, age-related deaths across South Africa could total 500,000 people in the next 10 years.
It's a general check on the feeding problems, on any medical disability.
Malnutrition and feeding problems are also common among black South African babies.
She has blood in her urine, so we have to investigate it.
But this is the weekend, and there's no x-ray or lab people on duty. This young mother will have to bring her baby back on Monday.
You can proceed to the Senate chamber.
Still, it's a new day in South Africa, the day of the rainbow. A parliament that once held no blacks,
And that is King Edward VII.
Is now 60% black, forging a constitution and passing laws in 11 different languages.
I think this transition will mark as one of the great accomplishments of mankind in the 20th century.
An entire race of people banned in their own country, now made full partners.
If you look at what happened here, you cannot look at places like Bosnia and Rwanda and the other places where there are problems in the world and say it's impossible to fix those things. It's not impossible, it's been done.
The impossible may have been done, but for South Africa, that's just a start. Ohio State couldn't have timed its trip better. The Ohio State University is moving to use education and technical skill to help the new South Africa become a player in the global market. We'll have more on that in a moment.
But coming up next, it was an incredible journey for the Ohio State basketball team, and we'll take you through their South African adventure when Passing the Torch comes right back.